This is the Highly Sensitive Person Podcast, a weekly podcast for people who experience the world brighter, louder, and more intensely. Join me on a journey of acceptance of our highly sensitive traits. Hey there, welcome to the Highly Sensitive Person Podcast. I'm your host, Kelly, and this is episode number 9. Normally I release episodes on Tuesday, but I decided to do an extra one this week, so consider this a bonus episode. And the topic for today is horror movies or violent TV shows or movies and how I really don't like them. When I was a young kid, my parents were pretty conservative and they never let me watch rated R movies. So because of this, I kind of was obsessed with wanting to see a rated R movie. Typical kid behavior, right? I remember being in maybe middle school, and I went to a sleepover at one of my friends' house. There was lots of girls there, and we were all going to watch the new horror movie Pet Sematary. I was really excited to see my first rated R movie, and I was absolutely terrified by it. I don't think I slept hardly at all that night. It made such a huge impact on me and scared me so much that my mind just kept going and thinking about terrible, awful, scary things. So that was my first experience with a rated R scary movie. That stayed with me forever. Since that time, I've watched probably less than 10 horror movies in my life because they don't do anything for me. Some people will say they love to watch scary movies because they kind of like the feeling of being scared. It's sort of like a rush and they actually enjoy it. And I really don't get that because the whole point of being scared is that it's awful, right? Like it's a sort of physiological feeling that's like a fight or flight response that's telling you something is bad and you need to get away to safety. I really don't understand the concept of enjoying being scared. And when I was younger, some of my friends would really push me to watch scary movies. I think they thought it was funny that I was so against it, and they didn't understand that I really meant, no, I'm not watching a scary movie. Seriously, I'm not joking around. This isn't something you can convince me to do. My husband knows now to never ask me to watch a scary movie because I won't. Because it's not worth it. I don't get anything out of it other than increasing my anxiety and feeling scared. The whole point of horror movies is to elicit emotion, the emotion of fear and being scared. And in me, I don't want to have that feeling. It's just too intense. It makes me too uncomfortable. And then that night when I go to bed, I'll lay there with my eyes wide open, hearing all sorts of sounds that probably aren't even there. I'll make him get up and go check the front door to make sure it's locked. I know, it's ridiculous, but my mind just goes down a rabbit hole and starts thinking of terrible things. I also don't like extremely violent movies. I remember being in the theater watching one of the Bourne Identity movies with my husband several years ago, and there was a fight scene where you could really hear the punches and the cracking of bones and awful fighting noises. And I could feel myself recoiling and making a face and kind of closing my eyes. And I remember leaning over to him and saying, "Oh, this is so violent." And at the same time, I thought, wow, what has happened to me? I sound like an old lady complaining about something being too violent. It was then that I realized that I'm really sensitive to violence, too. It really gets to me. And some of these scary and violent scenes stay with me, or have stayed with me my whole life. The most scarring scene I ever remember seeing in a movie was from A Clockwork Orange, a movie that I will never watch again. And if you've seen it, you know what scene I'm talking about. It's absolutely terrifying and scarring and terrible and gleefully violent, and that's what made it so disgusting. Even when I hear people talk about the movie A Clockwork Orange, I have kind of a visceral reaction of negativity. Maybe it is artistically a great movie, but for me, it's terrifying. So like so many other aspects of being highly sensitive, this is another thing that I've had to adjust to. I acknowledge that I am this way. I accept that I'm not going to change. I'm not going to suddenly start enjoying violent horror movies. It's just my temperament that these forms of entertainment affect me too strongly in a way that feels bad to me, and I have to adjust my life. Watching violent or scary movies sort of takes me out of that stasis of comfort and peace that I'm always trying to maintain. And the good news is, it's not that hard to avoid scary or violent movies. Just don't watch them. It's just another part of my life that's a little different than some other people. I'd like to hear from you. Are there movies that you've seen that have stayed with you inside your mind's eye for years and years and years because the violence or the scariness has kind of scarred you? Head on over to highly-sensitiveperson.net/episode 9 and let me know in the comments. And if you like this episode, please leave me a review and a rating on iTunes. It would be awesome. Thanks so much for listening.